Hey, you ever feel like the odds are just impossible? Like you're staring at a mountain you're supposed to move, but all you have is a teaspoon. I've felt that, building a company in a new country. That feeling in your gut, cold and heavy. But what if the mountain wasn't a metaphor? What if it was an armada of 300 warships bearing down on you, and all you had to stop them was 13? Today, we're talking about one of the most stunning last stands in naval history. A battle that defies belief. Hey, welcome back. I'm Ibnul J. Farabi, and this is Flashpoints, the wars that shaped us from Light Not Studios. It's October 1597. The Korean peninsula is in flames. For 5 years, Japan has been waging a brutal war of conquest, and now its armies are surging towards Seoul once more. The Korean Navy, once a proud shield, lies in ruins, shattered by betrayal and a devastating defeat. Morale is non-existent. The command is given to retreat, to burn the remaining ships and join the army on land. It seems like the final, sensible act of a lost war. But one admiral refuses the order. His name is Yi Sun-sin. He was a legend in the making, but at this moment, he was a man stripped of rank, recently tortured, and reinstated to command a fleet that practically wasn't there. He was given what was left, maybe a dozen warships, the famous Panoxian, and a handful of smaller craft. The reports coming in were apocalyptic. The Japanese fleet, transporting thousands of troops and supplies for the final push, numbered at least 300 vessels. The math is simple and terrifying. For every one of Yi's ships, there were 23 of the enemy. Retreat wasn't just sensible to everyone but Yi. It was the only way to survive. But Yi Sun-sin saw something everyone else missed. He chose his ground, not the open sea, but a specific, narrow strait called Myeongnyang, the Screaming Strait. And here's where we move from pure courage to tactical genius. Myeongnyang had a furious, swirling current that changed direction every few hours. It was a bottleneck. He realized that numbers, in that tight space, wouldn't be an advantage. They'd be a liability. He could force the Japanese to come at him a few ships at a time, while the vicious current did as much damage as any cannon. He was turning the environment itself into his 14th ship. So, on the morning of October 26, 1597, Yi Sun-sin anchored his 13 ships across the narrow strait. He reportedly raised a banner that read, "If you wish to live, you may yet live. If you wish to die, you will surely die." And then they waited. The Japanese vanguard, confident, surging with the tide, sailed right in. As the first Japanese ships entered the strait, he held his fire. He waited until they were committed, trapped in the channel. Then, he unleashed his secret weapon, the Korean cannon. This wasn't just naval artillery. This was some of the most advanced naval gunnery of its time. Korean ships mounted Chanja, Jija, Hyanja, and Wangja cannons, named after heaven, earth, black, and yellow, with ranges and firing rates that the Japanese ships, built for boarding and close-quarters combat, couldn't match. Yi's doctrine was simple: stand off and smash them from a distance. The first Japanese ships were ripped apart before they could get close. But still they came, wave after wave, funneling into the kill zone. The current, as he predicted, became chaos. Ships collided, were spun around, rendered unmanageable. The strait was becoming a graveyard of splintered wood and drowning men. But the tide of battle, like the tide of the sea, can turn. The current shifted. It now began to flow against the Korean ships, starting to pull them toward the mass of the Japanese fleet. Panic spread through Yi's sailors. This was the moment the whole plan could unravel. And here, we see the difference between a good commander and a transcendent one. It's said that Yi Sun-sin, standing calmly on deck, turned to his terrified officers and said, "The current has turned. But do you not see that the enemy is more frightened than you?" He ordered anchors dropped to hold position, and the relentless cannonade continued. His absolute, unshakable resolve hardened the spines of every man on those 13 ships. They held the line. What happened next was less a battle and more a slaughter. The Japanese, unable to deploy their numbers, unable to board, were sitting ducks in the turbulent water. By the end of the day, over 30 Japanese ships were sunk or destroyed. The numbers vary, but some accounts say as many as 100 were crippled. The Japanese admiral, Kurushima, was killed. The rest of the massive fleet turned around. They retreated. Yi Sun-sin lost not a single ship. 13 against 300, and the 13 won a decisive, war-altering victory. But why does this battle, fought over 4 centuries ago in a strait most of us will never see, matter? It's more than just an underdog story. Myeongnyang was a flashpoint that shattered inevitability. It stopped the Japanese advance in its tracks, saved what was left of Korea, and bought crucial time for Chinese reinforcements to arrive. It changed the entire psychological landscape of the war. It proved that will, combined with brilliant strategy, can redefine what is possible. He didn't just win a battle. He resurrected hope for an entire nation. I think about Yi Sun-sin often, especially when my own challenges feel insurmountable. I'm an engineer by training, so I'm wired to look for the bottleneck, the leverage point, the specific variable you can change to alter the whole system. He was a master of that. He didn't see 13 ships. He saw 13 moving fortresses, placed at the perfect point in a complex system of water and wind. He saw the enemy's greatest strength, their numbers, and he turned it into their greatest weakness. There's a profound lesson there for all of us. When you're facing your own impossible odds, the question isn't just, do I have enough? It's, where do I stand? What force can I use that they can't control? Find your Myeongnyang Strait. Find the ground that turns their advantage against them. The Battle of Myeongnyang reminds us that history isn't written by the side with the most resources. It's written by the side with the clearest understanding, the most resilient spirit, and the courage to stand in the screaming strait when every instinct says to run. Thanks for listening to this episode of Flashpoints. If this story of defiant strategy resonated with you, I'd be so grateful if you'd share the show with someone or subscribe so you don't miss an episode. For more from us, visit our producers at Light Knot Studios at lightknotstudios.com. I'm Admiral Yi Sun-sin. Until next time, remember, sometimes the teaspoon is enough. You just have to know where to dig.